Alright, so I've got some fresh news for you all. Just about an hour and a half ago, Miro dropped some new leaks that have totally changed everything about the next update. And if you missed it, it's all about chemical reactions. Now, you might have seen some talk about this already, either on the official Blue Lock Rivals menu or in the Discord, but trust me when I say this is huge. So, if you didn't catch it yet, let me break it down for you. In my previous video, I predicted that after the McNagi event, we'd probably get NEL Nagi and NEL Rio as part of a chemical reaction update. I wasn't entirely wrong, but here's the twist. This new leak changes everything. You see, this time, when you look at the game menu, it doesn't just say chemical reaction followed by a character's name like we saw before, with Hiyori and NEL Isagi or Otoya and NEL Bachira. No, this time it says chemical reactions. In plural. And let me tell you, that's no coincidence. This is a massive hint, not just a tease, that we might be getting a full rework for multiple chemical reactions, and that's honestly exciting. The best part? Miro himself ran a poll asking the community, which rework are you most hyped for? And chemical reactions won by a landslide. That's right. This isn't just a random wish list of reworks. This is an official poll, which means Miro and his team are definitely working on something big. And based on the wording of the poll, we're probably looking at a rework for all of the chemical reactions. That's right, the ones for Sei and Shido too. And don't even get me started on the possibility of NEL Nagi and NEL Rio joining the mix. I mean, how awesome would that be, right? But here's the kicker. Before I dive deeper into what all this could mean, I need to ask you for a quick favor. I'm on my way to hitting 50,000 subscribers, and with your help, I think we can definitely make that happen before the end of this fall. If you're enjoying the content, it would mean a lot if you subscribed and left a like. Every little bit helps, and it lets me keep bringing you all the latest leaks, updates, and predictions. So thank you in advance, and let's jump right back into the topic. Now let's talk about the chemical reactions prefix. The fact that it's plural is a huge deal, and I'm sure it's not just a slip-up. It's clear that this isn't just about revamping one or two chemical reactions. This could be a full-blown overhaul of the system. And based on what we saw in the poll, it makes sense to assume that Miro and his team are planning to overhaul multiple chemical reactions at once. They're not just going to tweak the old ones. They could add new ones, change how they work, and maybe even throw in some extra animation sequences or secret cutscenes. If you've been following along, you know that Miro has been pushing the boundaries of what's possible with updates. This could be one of the most exciting changes yet. I mean, think about it. Imagine if they made chemical reactions more accessible and easier to activate. Right now, you need two players, one to pass and the other to shoot. But what if, in the reworked version, you could trigger a chemical reaction just by standing near the other player and having one of them perform a pass or shot? That would make it so much easier for players to actually use chemical reactions without needing everything to fall perfectly into place. It would take the complexity out of it and give players more opportunities to trigger those special moments. But let's not stop there. Miro's poll made it clear that we're not just talking about tweaking old reactions. We could be getting entirely new ones. Sei and Shido's chemical reactions are long overdue for an update. Honestly, I think a rework for them could really change the game. And if they're doing this, there's a high chance we'll see new chemical reactions for other characters too. Like Ba and Isagi, Kaiser and Isagi, Nai and Reo, Rin and Shido, and maybe even Corona and Isagi. There's so much potential here, and I know the community is buzzing about what could be coming. And while it's exciting to think about new chemical reactions, it's also possible that Miro and his team might introduce some secret interactions between characters. Imagine a special cutscene when Sei and Rin are on the same team, with Sei activating his awakening move and saying, "You'll never surpass me." And we get a flashback to when they were younger. Or how about a showdown between Rin and Shido with a custom animation where they go head-to-head? That kind of detail would make these interactions feel even more personal and intense. Honestly, I'm already picturing all the possibilities, and I can't wait to see what they come up with. The beauty of a chemical reactions overhaul is that it doesn't just mean new animations and new moves. It means creating those special moments make you feel like you're part of the Blue Lock universe. And that's something that Miro and the team have done so well with in the past. But on the other hand, I also think there's a chance we could just see a batch of new chemical reactions added into the game, as opposed to a full rework. If that's the case, it's still a win. I've seen so many people asking for new chemical reactions for characters like NEL Isagi and Corona, or even Kaiser and Asagi. These kinds of additions would expand the possibilities for team compositions and strategies, and that's definitely something we need right now. So whether we get a full rework or just a bunch of new reactions, I'm all in for either outcome. But there's one more thing to consider: how chemical reactions are activated. Right now it's a bit complicated, and if Miro and his team decide to revamp it, they might make it easier to trigger. For example, instead of needing 2 players to line up their passes and shots perfectly, they could just require 1 player to pass or shoot while the other is close by. That would make chemical reactions more accessible and less dependent on perfect timing. It could also make team play more fluid and intuitive, and that's something I'd love to see. Now, let's take a look at the second theory: the possibility of Miro adding a whole bunch of chemical reactions to the game. Personally, I think this would be just as amazing for the game as the reworks. Honestly, if you pay attention to what the community is saying, you'll notice a lot of people are asking for new chemical reactions to be added. And trust me, I get it. There's a ton of potential here, and I think we all want to see some fresh interactions between our favorite characters. So let me throw a few ideas out there that I've been seeing pop up a lot lately. Some of the most requested chemical reactions include NEL Isagi and Corona, Bachira and Asagi, and more. Imagine how cool that would be. Then there's Rin and Shidu. We know those two have a bit of a rivalry, and adding a special chemical reaction between them would be pretty insane. Of course, you can't leave out Nagi and Reo. They're another pair that could bring some serious flair to the game. And if you're looking for more ideas, Isagi and Chigiri, or Don Lorenzo and Baru would be interesting combos as well. The possibilities are honestly endless, and I've just scratched the surface here. I could probably go on for a while, but you get the point. Adding these kinds of chemical reactions would really add some depth and variety to the game. The great thing about this theory is that it would allow the devs to cater to a wider range of player preferences. Some players love the NEL characters, while others are all about the original squad. And by adding more chemical reactions, we could see different dynamics between characters that we never thought we'd get before. It would bring in a new layer of strategy and teamwork, and I know it'd keep things fresh for players who have been around for a while. So whether we end up with a full overhaul of the existing chemical reactions or a huge influx of new ones, I think we're in for an amazing update. I have no doubt that Miro and the team will make sure the animations are top-notch. I mean, look at how well they've been handling the updates lately. They've been delivering some solid content, and if they take the same approach with the chemical reactions rework, we're in for something really special. But now I want to hear from you. Which chemical reactions are you hoping to see in the game? Do you prefer seeing reworks of the existing ones, or are you more excited for a bunch of new ones to shake things up? What are some character combos you'd love to see get their own chemical reactions? Personally, I think Nagi and Ryo would make an incredible pair, but I know you all have your favorites. Also, one thing I really want to know: do you think Miro and his team should make it easier to activate chemical reactions? Right now, it's all about timing and making sure the right character is passing and the right one is shooting. But what if they simplified the process a bit? Maybe just standing near the other player would trigger the chemical reaction with either a pass or shot. I'm curious to know what you all think about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks again for all your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.